then our cover will consist of two different Riemann surfaces covering S2. If we want the cover to be connected, to have only one Riemann surface covering S2, then you want to have the elements, the L tuple, generate Sn. So everything has geometric equivalence. And we consider these conditions because they come from topology. They're not just chosen because it's funnier to work with them. And unfortunately, I have to stop here. There are many questions that can be answered by using the product is identity. Let me just finish with this. So these elements have to generate Sn because we want to have a connected curve covering S2. The product of them has to be identity because the product of these two, if you consider the product of these two, you have to go along all these loops, one after the other. But you can, topologically, you can deform these loops. For example, let me consider the case, but this is already dead. So let me consider the case of two loops. If you have to go like this, following the two loops, you can transform this a little bit, going like that. I mean, you just start contracting, deforming this new loop actually. The composition of the two loops is actually a new loop, and you can deform this loop without touching the points that you have gotten out of the surface. And by using this, actually, little by little, you will get to a circular loop. The 2 points that we have deleted are within it. But look, we are on the sphere. And if you have the loop like this, you can contract this loop to a point going on the other part of the sphere. So you are not allowed to cross these points. But you can go on the other side of the sphere and contract it to a point. And when you contract it to a point, the image in Sn will be identity. So that these loops, when we represent them in Sn, their product has to be 1. Because the product of the loops here is homotopically trivial. This is how we say it in topology. So all these conditions, one after the other, you can explain by using generally, I use my mother's language now. Generally speaking, simple topology. And this is why the algebraic question is very important. Because it's related to something which is deep, it's very geometric and hard to grasp in a language that we know well. I mean, everybody knows the symmetric group and everybody knows how to deal with it. Only the dictionary from one theory to the other is difficult. For example, it's a nice idea to consider graphs. Only I was not sure what you'd call a diameter of a graph.
Consider the largest maximal distance between any 2 points.
The thing is that the largest...
It's a connected graph.
It's a connected graph. But this I'm not sure. So, well, there are surfaces, there are covers which are not connected with Hurwitz moves.
But we only consider.
If you consider the rest, it's a complete graph. Because every two, if you connect two, you will connect the first and the third. So the diameter formula is 1. You mean something else, but you have to explain.
Oh, the diameter doesn't matter. I mean, we fix these generators to be the moves. I mean, they could be different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What you call diameter is not the standard, I think.
We fix these generators, we fix the move, fix the edges, and we consider the diameter of this.
But I have to run, sorry. Thank you again for the presentation. I hope that the rest of the people who have their research in summer will show us what they do.
Next week, we will not have the student colloquium in here. We are going to have a special guest coming. The colloquium will be in the Academic Health Building 3, room 110. We are going to have a professor from the University of Arizona coming to speak to us.